It started with the stars. You'd have thought someone would have noticed the stars were going out, but only one person, Joseph Jolton, was looking. He found a supervoid, an area of space with no stars in it, and nobody cared. Now, when he figured out the supervoid was getting bigger, yeah, that got people's attention. Fear is the great motivator. Within a decade, we had faster-than-light drives. We sent a wave of unmanned probes into the supervoid, trying to find out what... Fear is the great motivator. Within a decade, we had faster-than-light drives. We sent a wave of unmanned probes into the supervoid, trying to find out what caused it and why it was getting bigger. They had a long way to go, so all we could do was wait for them to report back. But none of them did. We couldn't stand to wait any longer. Advances in cryogenics meant we now could take the best and brightest people and hurl them towards the supervoid. So we did. What could go wrong? It worked. A signal came in from Commanders Alan Purdy and Andy Carolyn, two of the first pioneers sent out to the supervoid. But it was just a set of coordinates. We didn't know what it meant, but we had to find out. Getting prepped for the journey was tough. The journey? That was even worse. After what seemed like ages, our ship finally reached the coordinates sent by the two pioneers, but there was nothing there. We didn't have a plan for nothing, so we just waited. We didn't have to wait long. One moment we're looking at empty space, and the next, it's completely filled with this massive, endless structure. Before we could react, it started to accelerate away from us. We followed, but it was too fast. We couldn't keep up, but it was pretty obvious where it was headed. The nearest star. We caught up with the alien structure. It was orbiting the star, literally sucking the energy out of it, just reducing it to dust. This is how the world ends. We'd found our star killer, and there was nothing we could do to stop it. After decimating the star, the alien structure headed back to where it appeared, only to vanish again. Given the residual energy signatures, it had to be a wormhole. And we discovered an outlandish scientific theory about interstellar travel is actually scientific fact. So what's the first thing we do? Fly straight into it. We survived the jump through the wormhole and arrived at a huge cloud of pure plasma. It made the swarm of starkillers orbiting it look like tiny insects, pumping their stolen energy into its rippling mass. This is what happened to all the stars. That scared the hell out of me. But why dump the energy here? There had to be something controlling all of this. We tried to communicate with the Star Killers, but they seemed oblivious to our presence. Given the immense scale, the energy from this massive cloud should have fried us the moment we emerged from the wormhole, and yet nothing registered on our equipment. The answer had to be inside the cloud. Unless you're actually there, when someone you love dies, it doesn't register. It's not real. Our backup had arrived, and for a moment there was hope. With them came the news that everyone we knew, everyone we loved, was gone. A star killer had taken our son. We found the body of one of our team floating in his sleep area, clutching a photo of his son and wife to his chest. He'd taken his own life. All our families and friends were gone. We had nothing to save, nothing to live for. In an instant of grief, our mission changed from discovery to revenge. We were gonna make them pay. But first we had to find them. Using our two ships like radar, we bounced signals through the plasma. And for what seemed like ages, we finally found something. It was a distinct shadow within the cloud. We sent in a probe, but it exploded the moment it touched the plasma. How the hell were we going to get in there? In the end, we counted 20 distinct structures in the cloud, each varying in size and shape, but they weren't connected. What if they didn't need a connection? We got here through a wormhole. Maybe you got to them the same way. Whoever or whatever created this thing needed to get in and out. The portal had to be a safe distance away from the cloud. It had to survive the cloud increasing in size as it absorbed the energy stolen from countless stars, including our own. It didn't take long to find it. The reason we missed it before, because we were expecting something a lot larger. I was the first to go. It's not like I had anything to lose. I had to go and hunt down whatever was responsible for my wife and son's death and make them pay. It wasn't large enough to send the ship, so we got into EVA suits, stepped through. I made a rookie mistake. The transition was so fast I barely registered the room I materialized when the next guy came hurtling through, slammed me into the far wall. Force the impact knocked me right out. My faceplate was smashed. I should have been dead. but I was alive and breathing. None of this made sense. We explored every inch of the place but found nothing. We were completely alone. We'd come so far, but we were no closer to finding what the hell it was all about. Even revenge, which had driven us this far, was losing its edge. Everyone else gave up. Not me. I was gonna find whoever was responsible. I came across another portal. It wasn't on, and that's why they missed it. It was clearly the same configuration as the one we'd entered with. Activating it was easy. Every portal found led to another deserted structure, but there was no way I was giving up. I had to keep going. I had to find something. There had to be an answer. If there wasn't, then she died for nothing, and I couldn't accept that. Whatever these structures were, they were old. Very old. Entropy had kicked in some places. They'd collapsed. In one, we actually had to dig out the portal before activating it. There was no signs of life, only signs of age. Even my drive for vengeance was being eroded away by the very real possibility that whoever built this thing may have died long ago. If that was true, then the only thing left to do was to find a way to shut down the entire structure and stop it destroying more stars. With nowhere else to go, there was a sense of irony that this may very well become our new home. I'd always imagined that the first contact with an alien race would be some grand event. Instead, it just stumbled into our group. I'm not sure who was more shocked. It was like a dream. I saw my hand reaching up, my gun, my finger pulling the trigger. The alien toppled backwards and hit the floor. He's dead. I probably just killed the best chances to get answers, but I didn't care. The alien had the same basic physiology as us. 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, and its skin was a different pigment. The most striking familiarity was the eyes. And they could have been our eyes. That was scary. I mean, that we were related in some way. And then it started to breathe again. I shot the alien in the head. How the hell was it alive? The group got really twitchy and close to pumping more bullets into the thing when it started to move, but it wasn't doing much. It was just raising its hands to where I shot it. It was understandable, really. It's gotta hurt. I wasn't sure if it was fear on his face or anger, but it looked like he was getting ready to speak. I didn't want to risk shooting it again, so I put the gun down. The alien concentrated its gaze on me, which was really unnerving. And then it spoke. The speed at which the alien picked up our language was staggering. It mastered the basics and was able to communicate enough to ask for water, which we gave it. I realized that I was beginning to feel concern for the very creature that may have been responsible for killing everyone I cared about. And that wasn't right. This was clearly a very intelligent being. When the team seemed relaxed around it, teaching it how to talk had become almost a game. But I'd had enough. This thing had obliterated our world and was sitting there laughing with us. I lost it, started ranting about how everyone we knew, everyone we loved was dead, and it was this thing's fault. I really hadn't expected to see a look of horror on the alien's face. It really caught me by surprise. It looked at me with such sadness, and it started to speak. My surprise turned to anger again when the alien told us that no life should have been harmed. I mean, the Starkillers were built to recognize it, to back off, to leave it alone. Well, that clearly worked, didn't it? The alien called it the Alpha device. It was designed to contain energy, and then when a critical point was reached, it would release it all into a single point in space where it would rapidly expand. It was talking about recreating the Big Bang. Not the small experiments we did in particle accelerators back home. No, it was going to be like the one that created everything, using all of the energy in the universe to do it. I couldn't get past how ridiculous all of this sounded. Did the alien have so much contempt for life that it wanted to end it all, including its own? It had the gall to turn to me and say that setting off a Big Bang was nothing to do with destruction, just everything to do with creation. And then it sealed its own fate. It said there wasn't meant to be any life left. According to this alien, when all life comes to a natural end in the universe, it sets off a chain of events that leads to the evolution of a single immortal being in a species called humans. The sole purpose of this immortal being, this human, would be to reboot the universe so that the cycle starts again. The human claimed that this had happened millions of times already, and always with the same immortal who retained some memory of it each time. To top it all off, the alien then claimed it was this immortal being, this human, unable to die until a force with the magnitude of a Big Bang occurred. Something snapped in us all. I'm not proud of this, but being told why our wives, husbands, and children had to die in such a cold, calculating way, well, let's just say we tested this human's claim of immortality. If this insane story was true, it meant there would be no stars out there. The only place to survive would be the Alpha device. There was just no way we could let this thing carry through with its plan. We were also painfully aware that we weren't immortal, so there would come a time when there would be none of us left to stop it activating the final explosion, the Big Bang. So what could we do? During one of our attempts to kill the human, we discovered that we could wipe its memory for a short amount of time. The memory would always come back, but for a few days, it had no idea who it was or where it was. This human would outlive us. It was immortal, and we weren't. The only thing we could do was wipe its memory for a few days at a time. But what if we could build a system that after those first few days, it would reapply the memory wipe? The human would be trapped. It could never activate the Big Bang. It would be a prisoner in its own creation forever. We had a plan. Have you figured it out yet? It's you. Your last words to me were that immortality has a price. Well, yeah. In your case, that price is to be imprisoned and to feel our pain and suffering forever. You killed them. So I'm going to remind you every time of what you did to let you know your crimes and your punishment. I'm going to let you get so close to finishing your objective, and then I'm going to take it away from you, just like you took my wife and son away from me. Want to know the best bit? This is pure genius, even if I do say so myself. You were so much smarter than us, even with your memory wiped. So all we had to do was convince you that you were one of us and help create the prison. We convinced you to create a device, the caretaker unit, that would let you get so close to setting off the Big Bang and then wipe your memory just before you can. You did it. Probably your finest achievement. You should be very proud. Telling you the story of who we were and where we came from, that was my idea. It was designed to make you feel some empathy. I wanted you to believe that you were one of us, to know what it was like to have everybody taken away from you in such a stupid, pointless way. To make the story a bit more personal to you, and with your help, we looked inside your mind, picked out names of people you knew, people who mattered to you. Did you feel the pain of losing everyone you knew and loved? I really hope so. At least you got to say goodbye. They knew you were living on to create this monstrosity. Everyone I knew died thinking I'd failed to stop you, failed to save them. And they were right. So you get to suffer for them. A payment of what you did to them and to atone for my complete failure to stop you in time. I may be dead, but I died knowing that you're living through this over and over again. You'll get to experience the grief and utter hopelessness that I felt when I finally learned your true nature. I don't care that you didn't even know we existed. It's no excuse, ignorance. Really, it isn't. You should have tried harder to see what else you were destroying. You should have found out how many other countless lives you were obliterating in your arrogance. So this is it, my final message to you before your mind gets wiped and you have to do it all over again. Goodbye. I'd say we wouldn't speak again, but from your point of view, we will. I mean, you're going to experience this over and over again forever. You know what? To show you I'm not totally cruel, I'll give you a few minutes before your memory gets wiped. Make the most of them. Reflect on what you've done.